Welcome to The Holistic High Achiever. I'm your host, Kaitlin Rohowetz. This podcast is proudly sponsored by A Better Body, my therapeutic massage studio here in Madison, where massage is so much more than just relaxation. At A Better Body, we believe in personalized, empowering care that supports your overall health and wellness. Because when you feel better, you do better. As a high achiever myself, I know how easy it is to push your own needs aside while chasing goals, building a business, or caring for others. That's why this podcast exists, for all of my fellow high achievers, entrepreneurs, and mompreneurs, all the go-getters who want to thrive in a fast-paced, modern world without sacrificing their health or burning themselves out and continuing to put themselves on the back burner. Yes, we'll talk about health, nutrition, and movement and easy solutions to living healthier, but we'll also cover topics like goal setting, building habits, and overcoming challenges and limiting beliefs, which can be applied to any area, including health, so that you can thrive holistically. I talk a lot about self-care. Self-care has been a core belief of mine for a long, long time, and it's probably why I became a massage therapist almost 15 years ago. And then the massage industry just probably solidified that belief and the importance of self-care even further. If you listen to my episodes, you've probably heard me say things like, you can't pour from an empty cup. When you're not taking care of yourself, the people you love aren't getting the best version of you. Self-care is recharging your battery. You can't always go 100 miles an hour. You have to stop and fill up your tank. When you're burnt out, everything is harder. When you take care of yourself, you show up for what's important as the A+ version of you. Do any of these sound familiar? It's the entire premise of this podcast that taking care of you first allows you to show up better in life, because when you feel better, you do better. So whether that means showing up and being there for your family or a loved one, or showing up and being productive at work with your career goals, it has a direct impact on how you show up, no matter what you're showing up for. And most of you listening, even if you're not actively practicing it as much as you'd like, you probably logically understand and agree with the concept. However, we don't always follow through. Why do we continue to know what to do, but knowing doesn't seem like enough to make it happen? It's because there are still other blocks. It's because there are negative thoughts or emotions that show up and block us from doing the behavior that we logically know that we want. I call these negative thoughts or emotions, they're the yeah, buts. Yeah, but I can't relax because then I feel guilty for not being productive. Yeah, but I can't go work out because I feel guilty about not spending time with my kids. Yeah, but I can't go get a massage because I feel guilty about spending money on myself. Yeah, but I'm too tired to cook something healthy. I just need something fast. Yeah, but I've tried before and nothing sticks, so I feel defeated. Yeah, but I don't have time and I already feel too stressed, so I'll just keep grinding instead. Yeah, but if I put myself first, I might disappoint others. Yeah, but I feel so overwhelmed, I don't even know where to start. Yeah, but I'm fearful that if I slow down and rest, everything will fall apart. I don't know about you, but that last one is one that I personally still notice come up sometimes. And here's the thing. When your quote-unquote excuse for not following through with something is an emotion, a feeling like guilt, overwhelm, fear, disappointment, perfectionism, it can actually feel harder than if the excuse for not following through was something more tangible, like, my kid was in the ER, or, whatever, or something outside of your control. Because for some reason, emotions don't feel like a good enough reason. We feel like we should be better than that, or we should have more willpower than that. So I'm going to challenge that today. Emotions can be a huge barrier, and the ability to recognize them and reframe them can be the catalyst for massive and long-term change to finally happen in your life. I have a client who, when they feel stressed, she realizes she should probably go take a break and not go all the time, but then feels guilty when that break includes reading a book or just doing something fun, like playing video games or phone games, because it's not constructive. And when I asked, what do you really want? The answer was time to take time to rest, to recover, to do something, but without the guilt. Because the whole goal was to feel better. And the whole goal was once they feel better, that would lead to more positive interactions when those opportunities came up for stronger relationships to form, more connection, more closeness, and to be able to be helpful and show up as a supportive loved one and family member. And most importantly, build that connection for both themselves and their loved ones. So when I flipped it and asked, what do you think the positive intention might be about that guilt that keeps showing up? And she said, well, there was a time in my life when I played way too many video games and I felt like I was wasting my life. So this part, when you think about that, is really just trying to protect her from wasting her life. The guilt is there to remind her not to waste her life, reminding her that there's actually more to life to enjoy. And that's an amazing part. That's an amazing, incredible piece of her, which deserves a thank you. Because it's the same part that has allowed so much success and so much closeness with loved ones in the first place. And reminding that part that we will still have time, we will still have that connection, that closeness, if we do take time to relax and check out once in a while. And maybe even that relaxing is actually constructive because it's allowing us to recharge. I think we've all seen those memes, or at least they come up on my feed because it's the way the algorithm works. But it's people sitting there and they're like, oh, I wish I could relax in a more productive way. And that's what this story reminded me of. And that's the message that I want to give today, is that the positive intention of some of the negative emotions and the negative emotion patterns that show up for you. And whatever emotion it is for you, in this story, it was guilt. But is it really the guilt? Is it really perfectionism? Is it really fear? Is it really overwhelm? Or is it actually a beautiful, useful, and rightful part of you that simply wants the best for you? So rather than fighting this part and pretending like it's not there, because then you're just at war with yourself and it's already there, just acknowledge it and thank it for trying to protect you. And let that part of you know that you'll still be able to honor that part and get what you ultimately want. And get creative with how else you can honor that part. But if you can't think of anything off the top of your head, if nothing else, just thank that part and let it know that it's going to be okay with the new way of doing things. I want to share a couple more examples because a common thing that I see is perfectionism. We want things to be done a certain way. And so it either means we don't try in the first place, or because we have this like paralysis by overanalysis, or we do it, but then we feel bad about the way that it was done. Either way, it all stems back to perfectionism. And I have a client who wanted to do 75 hard. And if you don't know what that is, it's a 75-day long program. And the gist of it, there's a whole thing to it, but the gist of it is it's 0 sugar, 0 alcohol. You work out every day and you read 10 pages a day. I'm not advocating for this program. I'm simply telling you what it is. And maybe I can do a future episode on this. But my client was on day 50 something, and she's a nurse, and she ended up having to work a really long shift. So she didn't have enough time that day to exercise or read. And so the next morning she woke up and felt terrible about failing. She felt ashamed because she should have done better, been better, followed through, and no one was to blame except herself. Feeling shame and feeling like a failure was the negative emotion here. And her normal instinct would be to like double down and go 10 times harder as punishment for failing, to the point of like overwhelm and exhaustion that also backfires. But I pause and ask, like, what's the positive intention of those feelings of shame and feelings of failure? And the positive intention was the part of her that wants her to be successful and succeed at the highest levels possible. And it's so useful and so good to have a part of you that wants that wants you to succeed. And it's okay to acknowledge when those parts absolutely need some reprogram and when they're not serving you in the best way that they're intending to. So she was able to realize that making it to day 50, whatever, was a huge accomplishment. And during that time, she lost some weight. She felt better. She no longer craved sweets, and she was sleeping like a rock star. So all of a sudden, when her focus turned to gratitude, she realized it was the same part of her that felt like a failure was the same part of actually what motivated her to follow through to the capacity she had in the first place. Which, logically she knew, hey, making it to day 50 was an accomplishment, but it wasn't until she acknowledged those feelings of failure and that part of her as necessary that it actually felt like it. The last example I want to give is one that I hear from moms all the time. I can't do fill in the blank for myself because I feel guilty about leaving my kids. I wish I was in front of all of you listening right now, because there's probably some hands going up. Which, first of all, me too. Whether it's I can't go to yoga class because I don't want to take time away from my kids. And if I do follow through, I just feel guilty the whole time I'm there. Well, that's counterproductive. You're supposed to be taking time for yourself to recharge your battery and better yourself, but you just feel guilty the whole time. If that's what the experience is like, of course you're not going to want to keep following through with that commitment. You're not going to want to keep doing it because it didn't feel good to do so. So what's the positive intention of the guilt in this scenario for you? I don't want to put answers or thoughts in your mouth, but it's probably something along the lines of to keep you close with your kids because they grow up so fast. Roman's not even 3 yet, and I already look back at his baby pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh. They grow so fast, and there's just part of you that just wants to spend as much time with them as possible. And also because you probably are the best caretaker for them. And when you leave them with someone else, they don't do things the way you would have done them. So the positive intention with this one is so obvious, it's like painful. It's the part of you that wants the absolute best for your kids and wants to maintain that closeness and connection with them on the deepest levels. And that is absolutely beautiful. So thank that part of you. Because it's also the part of you that makes such a wonderful parent and so qualified to raise kind and amazing human beings who will make an impact in this world and treat others with kindness and care and respect in return. And I'm like feeling this right now, just saying it out loud, because we need that so much in the world. So I'm thanking you for you. I'm thanking the guilt for you. But sometimes when like this part of you shows up at what we'll call the wrong time, not a convenient time, when it gets in the way of you actually accomplishing what you want, it's backfiring. Because it's not allowing you to take the space that you need to show up as the best version of you. And if we're super honest right now, we've all had moments as parents when you're so overwhelmed that you snap on your kids. I literally just had a good friend of mine tell me, her kids are older now, but she's like, oh my gosh, when they were little, they'd be in the back seat and I was just so overwhelmed, and they'd be like, who knows what they were talking about? And I'd just turn around and go, shut the fuck up. It's so we all have those moments. And then of course you feel guilty and you're not proud. But a lot of times those moments that we're not proud of, that we snap on our kids or say something or do something, it's usually because we're already overwhelmed. So thank that guilt. It's there to make sure you're the best parent. And Remind yourself that in order to actually continue to be the best parent you can be, you have to reduce your stress and overwhelm. Point blank. And just think of this. Think of all the good things that can be and will be when you take care of yourself. Less snapping, more meaningful connections, more positivity, more closeness, and the effect that will not only have on you, but your kids and your entire family. And I'm feeling this as I'm saying it, so I hope you're feeling it as you listen, but I really want you to thank that part of you. And at the same time, remind it that we're going to let go of the way we're currently doing it so that you can give yourself permission to do the thing that you know deep down you want and need to do that will have such a positive impact. And the more times you repeat this experience and let your brain know that this is actually great and safe to do these things, the easier it will feel over time. I'm actually going to repeat that part because it's the most important thing I've said this entire episode. The more we have a positive experience and truly feel the results, the easier it will become to follow through. It's human nature. We all teach our kids about natural consequences, like touching a hot stove. Most of us do it at least once, and then that's all it takes to never do it again. It's a natural consequence. A consequence doesn't have to be negative. By definition, it's simply a result or effect of an action or condition. So if you start to show your brain and prove to it that certain things result in positive consequences that have a powerful ripple effect to transferring positivity to other areas of your life, the easier it will become. Because there will begin to be less and less inner resistance to doing those things. So the last piece I want to leave you with is just remember your why. Go back to it. What is your end goal? Why are you doing all of this in the first place? What's the result you're aiming for? You're doing this so you can show up as the best version of you for the people you care about most. So take a moment to think of those people, that thing right now, and just feel grateful for them. That's your why. That's who or what you're showing up for so you can continue to be the best parent, the best partner, the best athlete, the most successful career badass, or whatever it is for you. Never lose sight of your why. You are incredible, and those parts of you that seem undesirable or inconvenient are there for a reason. We just have to reframe how we honor them. I'm so excited for you to go into the world and honor all parts of yourself. And if you're in the Madison area, maybe this is the universe telling you that it's time to go get yourself a massage. So I'll shamelessly put a link to A Better Body's website in the description. That is all for now. Thank you so much for being here with me on The Holistic High Achiever. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired and ready to take on the world one healthy step at a time. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps so much. And if you're anything like me, you probably thought of someone else who would likely resonate with this. So don't forget to share it with them, because who can't use a little extra motivation? Until next time, friends, keep embracing your journey and kicking ass.